Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
And a good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Round 2, game 1. It gets going tonight. 7:30, Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights. We've got the hangout here today. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here. Jasmine's back in with her Knicks shirt on after the big comeback win over the Celtics yesterday. And Cam Kish joining us of GCL Diesel. He's in the hangout for his first appearance. Cam, welcome to the show.
Round the clicks,
Good morning,
Cam.
everybody.
All right.
Good to be here.
Thank you to everyone for tuning in live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, for those watching live on YouTube, as well as for those listening to this on podcast, wherever you get your podcast. As I said, the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada Storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life transitions. Canadian storage provider, 50% off 12 weeks on all units. It's their Mother's Day deals, 75% off of 8 weeks on 10 by 10 units and 4 weeks free on selected units. Sentinel.ca by Canadian. How's everyone feeling with Oilers and Golden Knights? You look nervous right off the bat.
Yeah. It's not even nervous. It's like a weird feeling of I'm not as scared or nervous as I usually am.
That's good.
Right? It's just it's a foreign feeling. But I'm excited.
That you're
Because everybody's always nervous about the team. That's why. I got you.
I mean, they do have poor starts, so
Oh, they do. They definitely do.
the expectation isn't necessarily super high off the bat, but definitely
Go
some
all in.
butterflies.
It's going to be good.
Good.
I'm excited now because I think I'm playing with borrowed money because I picked LA to beat the Oilers.
One of those guys, Cal.
Yes,
Oh.
I did. So I said LA in 7, and I'm glad I'm wrong. So I think now it's going to be Oilers in 6 in this one.
I like that. That's the way to go. And hey, you want to know something? Maybe you just jinxed the LA Kings. That's the Alan Mitchell way.
That's right.
The reverse
Tied
drinks.
with
the reverse.
You know
that's
the reverse drinks.
Yeah, that's right.
Smitty the Welder, why would Jasmine be nervous? She's a Canucks fan. Oh, it sounds like Jasmine might. I got to go see her. Mic might not be working.
Oh, great.
My mic? Is it 'cause I talk loud enough anyway?
Yeah, by the way, you were in Vancouver again.
I was.
You're yelling.
I know. I'm trying to make sure it hits the mic.
He's fixing it.
You're yelling.
You're yelling. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, anyway.
I was in Vancouver. I cheers the nasties to
You
my
don't have to
bottle
yell, you
service.
fixed it.
Oh, sorry.
Cam's going to want to
Sorry,
switch spots
sorry.
right away.
Yeah. Sorry,
I'm
Cam.
fine.
I
I'm all
apologize.
good. We're all good here.
Yeah, I had a great time in Vancouver. My cousin, it was her bridal shower. So we had a bougie time in in
They look
Vancouver.
bougie.
Yeah. So
What hotel was that?
it was Parker Hotel Rooftop.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so we popped a bunch of champagne bottles, and then we went to some club called Pier after, which was packed. I felt really old, and stayed there for a little while, and they had some good old tunes like some G Unit and some old school music.
The good stuff, as
The
we like
good
to
stuff.
say.
Oh, and I felt so cool. I opened the door because I was trying to get some of the girls in, right? And then I saw some people I went to school with, and I got them in. So I honestly thought I was the Don. But yeah, it was fun. And then I did do an Instagram story. I cheers to the nasties and the bottle service jokes. So cheers to you guys. Yeah.
Well done. Welcome back.
Yes. So
Good
that was
to
my
have you.
Vancouver trip. So thank you for asking.
Good. All right, we got that out of the way.
Yeah. Got that.
I like how you haven't got it out of the way. We're done.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't need to go back there for the rest
No,
of
we
this.
don't.
Well, I saw every Instagram story. I'm like, oh, she's having a great time.
Thanks.
Good job.
Yeah,
No, that's good.
So this Oilers Vegas Golden Knights series gets going 7:30. Tommy will be on location. Boston Pizza, Westgate, 170th Street. That's at 6 o'clock right here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Is Tommy Hernan and Cass will get you set, but we've got you set throughout the whole day right here in Edmonton Sports Talk, getting set for this game 1, the rematch of Vegas Oilers from 2 years ago. Aiden Hill in net for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Your best friend.
Who didn't
He's a
have
good guy.
He did not have a good first round, but got the wins versus right now Calvin Pickard, who will start in net at least for game 1. What's the biggest key to this series we're looking at? What is the thing that we're focusing on for the Edmonton Oilers to have to, that's the area where that's where they're going to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. Do we have anything for that?
What do you think, Cam?
I'm curious to see how the Oilers are going to be able to handle the Oilers D-men are going to be able to handle the Vegas forecheck. Yeah. It's going to be much more aggressive with Vegas than LA was. So I'm curious to watch somebody like John Klingberg and see if he can do the same things he was doing against LA, because he's going to get a lot more pressure than he had against the Kings. So that'll be important. If we can handle that, then we can get the puck back up to the forwards quickly. I think we're in good shape.
If you're Bruce Cassidy and you're looking at the Oilers D, are you going, I want you guys to hit Evan Bouchard and John Klingberg and Ty Emberson as much as possible?
Exactly.
That's what I would be doing.
That's a good point.
I'd be like, just get on them. Be on their ass nonstop until they just cough up pucks. Because, A, they do it on their own. Well, Klingberg's been really good, but Bouchard certainly does. And Emberson's puck touches weren't particularly great in that first round. That's what I would be saying. I'm like, get on those guys, and you're going to get glorious opportunities. And then, I mean, Pickard made some big saves, but he's beatable.
Yeah, and no one could say, like, I'll sit there and say he made those timely saves in that first series, but he let in the pucks. He's beatable. Like, no one could go out there and say he's not beatable at that point. I think the point you also bring up, like, that will be the fast game. Oh, don't worry, they're playing basketball too, if you're curious what's going on.
They do that.
If the big thing is that this isn't a team that, as the series progresses, you're going to face 9 forwards and 4 defensemen.
No.
True.
They're going 12 forwards. They're going 6 defensemen the entire game, the entire series. And how are the Oilers going to be able to handle that? You know, Drew Doughty isn't playing for the Golden Knights and going to get tired because he's playing those extra minutes.
Yeah.
So the Oilers going to be withstand the fact that the Vegas Golden Knights themselves have a full team to go up against the Oilers. That to me is also part of, like, can the Oilers deal with that?
They have to. The one thing Edmonton does good is adapt and figure out their opponent. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and credit there. And I like Edmonton's forwards now compared to what we saw 2 years ago. A little bigger, a little meaner, able to impose their will physically a little bit. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, I was really impressed in the first series with our depth, like the second 2, 3, 4 lines, and just relentless. Podkolzin and Arvidsson in on the forecheck and bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
We need to keep that up. We need to keep that up and wear their D down as well.
The Sequoias on the back end. They're big.
They are.
They can move the puck. They're fast.
Yeah, I want to see, like, because it felt like going into the playoffs, I was a little more worried about the secondary scoring of this team. That, like, last year we saw the team 4 lines. They were producing during the regular season.
Yeah.
And they produced in the playoffs, but I felt like this year it was mostly McDavid, Draisaitl. You were leaning on them. Connor Brown, 3 goals in the first round. Kane, I'm going to throw him in secondary scoring because we didn't know what he could produce. 2 goals. Perry, 2 goals. Janmark, 2 goals. Frederick, 1 goal. Henrique, 1 goal. Arvidsson, a goal. Like, that's secondary scoring. And they got that.
Well, I think you have to look at Nuge, too, because Nuge has been a no-show for a lot of the regular season, right? And he stepped it up.
Yep.
Which is really good to see, and that's really important.
27 goals in that first round. Not bad.
That's pretty good.
It's a lot of scoring
That's a lot of scoring.
and lack of defense.
Yeah, there were some wild games in that first series. And I'm not expecting that to change in this either. Like, if you go based on the goaltending too and what we've seen so far, Aiden Hill may be a Stanley Cup winning goalie, but not a great start. These shouldn't be low scoring games.
You know, it's funny. There hasn't really been any goaltender in all the series so far that's really stood out and stood on his head.
That's true.
You know, you went into talking about Hellebuck and Kemper and all these guys, and they're all very ordinary
I'm trying to think.
below average.
Yeah.
You know, so
Today's over and
maybe
under.
Stolars of anybody, it might have been the best guy. Now, who knows where he is?
Yeah,
with his
exactly.
Headshot.
It's 6.5 today's game is what they've set the
That's
over and under.
high.
Take the over.
Yeah, that's a
You
lot.
think take the over, eh?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
high.
What has we
I'll
got
light
for
each other up.
goalies this playoffs right now? Logan Thompson had a .923 save percentage. Don't want to disparage the Montreal Canadiens, though, but you're going up against the Montreal Canadiens, who are just this year happy to be there.
Yeah.
Jake Ottinger, 911. Stolar's 901. Frederick Anderson had a 936. Binnington at a 901. But there's a lot of 800s in here in terms of save percentage.
But Anderson was facing like the AHL team
Right,
of the
yeah.
Devils, right? Like there's so many injuries there.
No, I know. Okay, I know. Okay, this doesn't have minimum games. Frederick Anderson at 936.
Yeah.
Save percentage. Casey DeSmith 929. Okay, yeah, he
That
didn't play
doesn't
much.
count. Yeah.
Okay, I could filter this. Let me add a filter for. Can I do games played? Sometimes these games started.
Revamp their site. It's good.
Games started greater than. Let's make it 2. We're going to add that filter. There we go, NHL.com. That'll make it better. So, yeah, Frederick Anderson, 936. Logan Thompson, 923. But then Philip Gustafson, 914. Jacob Markstrom, 911. Jake Onger, 911. Sam Montembeau, 908. Jordan Binnington, 901. Stollart's 901. Pickard, 893. Blackwood, 892. Kemper, 889. Bobrovsky, 887. Aiden Hill, 880. Linus Olmark, 880. Vasilevsky, 872. Hellebuck, 830. The only one worse than Hellebuck is Stuart Skinner at 810.
Oh.
Sorry.
Connor Hellebuck, more like Connor Smellebuck, right?
Yeah, well,
Although I will say, in the third period and overtime, he looked like
He dialed in.
the original, the real Connor Hellebuck.
that game was crazy.
Well, so the 3 Vezina finalists in the playoffs this year. 889 save percentage, Darcy Kemper, Vasilevsky, 872, Connor Hellebuck, 830. You're right. The goaltending really hasn't been there for the large part, like across the board in round 1, which for viewers means goals.
How
People
good
like
was that
goals.
first round?
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. Even I didn't watch Carolina and New Jersey. I don't think anybody did.
No.
But every other round outside of that was awesome.
Yeah.
Bring on the goals. Bring on the offense, I say.
Jasmine, your key for the Oilers. What do you think? What are you looking at?
I think here's the thing. I think the Kings set them up with some confidence. The fact that they won the games in 6, figured it out. I think coming from that high, that the Oilers need to continue it today, and they need to score first, like they did before. Like they need to get the confidence up and not dig themselves in a hole.
Even if they get in a hole, do you feel worried?
No,
I don't. I'm just
They're the
like,
Oilers.
whatever.
Yeah.
These guys, whatever. They need to have their backs against the wall.
Although it would be nice to go in there and win game 1 for a change,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
see try to play with a lead for a change, right?
Put some pressure on the other team.
Yep.
Exactly.
and send a message to all the other teams too. When you look at
Just
these,
stomp them.
yeah. Like when
I
you
like
look
that.
when you look at Twitter and there's like, I think, was it Puckpedia, when they have this percentage. Oilers are the second last to win the Stanley Cup. Like, get that
Really?
percentage. Yeah. I think it's the Caps are just underneath the Oilers.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of formula are they using?
That's going to be fascinating for you, if you can find it. This is Hangout Headlines brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. From premier golf facilities to corporate branded products. Ranch, your all-in-one tournament host, proud host over 180 tournaments each year, including the EST Golf Classic, presented by Play Alberta. They're here to help you execute all your tournament ideas. Book your tournament today. Visit theranchgolf.com or book your tee time at theranchgolf.com. That playing with the lead would be nice in both game and series. I think it all combines in one. You get game 1, you've got the series lead, play with the series lead, but also if you can go get that first goal tonight, play with that lead. And we were talking before the show, Cam. There's just something about the Oilers that I like their matchup against them. I like it better than I would. I said this before the first series. I would have rather seen Vegas than the LA Kings. I'm confident in the Edmonton Oilers against the Vegas Golden Knights.
Exactly.
I am too.
The Golden Knights just don't. They don't look like the Golden Knights of the last few years. And you had Gary Lawless, you said that
Yeah.
there's just something off with them. They finished with 110 points or whatever it was, but it wasn't a confident season. I don't think for the Vegas Golden Knights.
They barely beat the Wild because the Wild beat themselves.
Yeah, Minnie had them on the ropes a little bit there.
Yep. That one offside goal ended up turning the series. there
Exactly.
with a minute left. And
Hill got pulled in what, game 3? Not in 5, something like that.
One games, 4 or 5 was it? Or overtime games?
Yeah.
Which in overtime, flip of a coin almost to a degree. One puck goes in the wrong way, and all of a sudden you've lost that game instead or something. So I'll be intrigued to see. I didn't listen to. I think Danny Webster was on with Reed and Jay yesterday. I missed that interview. I'll be interested. I know there'll be more Vegas today on the station of guests. I'll be interested to see what they're saying about the Vegas Golden Knights, because I don't feel like they're coming at this series overly confident. Like you're going to have confidence, obviously. I think the Oilers are going into this series feeling quite confident.
I was on with Ken Bulkey from Sinbin Vegas on Saturday. We did a little thing. They sounded pretty confident to me.
Really?
Yeah. That's beatable, but confident.
Yeah, like there was just so much buzz with the Kings, even on social media, right? And I'm not hearing really anything from the Vegas side.
Well, we got our first Vegas troll in the Nasty
All
Chat.
right.
Here
I
we
believe.
go.
Dixon Cider. People
Is that a biblical name?
their graphic is also I pooped today. So round of clicks for you pooping.
All right. Let's see how long this one lasts before they get banned.
People in glass houses probably shouldn't throw stones. They've already sold out of brooms in Vegas. Feel sorry for the Oiler faithful. LOL, putting down a 110-point team with recent cup. Keep dreaming. So Dixon, that's all I'll go with for moving forward there.
Hit the like,
That's
Dixon.
I don't think anybody's putting them down. Let's say they're
No.
a good team, but they're beatable.
Yeah, and I think if anything, it's the confidence in the Edmonton Oilers. I think that's what we'll be hearing or have heard from Oiler faithful and stuff like that. Is people feel really good about this team, and in the end, when you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, right off this bat, like almost any series you start, you have the best player on the ice in the series. And you have the second best, if not third best player, depending on like if you're going up against the Colorado Avalanche, you can maybe make the argument he's the third best player in the series. But you got the best and the second best player in the series, both of them.
I'll say this to Mr. Cider. Welcome. And secondly, regular season points don't matter. You could throw that all out the window.
Legit.
It's completely different. So we'll see. We'll see if the glass houses thing breaks and shatters.
I don't think it's going to be a 4-game series either.
No.
Right? Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Oilers 20. What was the record this year?
Do you guys think that there's going to be a lot of Oiler fans in Vegas?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry.
It's
I
a
apologize.
tourist hub. Of course there's going to be so many Oilers fans
But did
there.
you see the prices for the average fan?
What was it?
Say $1,800 for the flight.
There's
I know what they're doing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
the U.S. travel is down a bit too.
Yes.
I don't like that. There's a lot of. I'm assuming it will be a
I
fair
think there
amount.
still is going to be a bunch because they travel really well to Vegas. Phoenix and Vegas were like mini home games. I remember those. Those were great.
Schedule.
I still think some people people go crazy in the playoffs.
I also wonder if more people are going to hold off and be like, you want to know something? I'm saving my money for the conference finals or the Stanley Cup final.
That's what I did last year.
2-2 record against Vegas this year. The Oilers. I'm just looking that up.
When was the last time you checked that flight?
Yesterday,
Okay.
Dusty and I did on the air.
I would assume that people would have booked already, like for example, right after the Oilers beat the Kings.
Yeah.
So maybe the flight is just because it's so close.
I know Rob
It's a
from
game
the
time.
Grove was saying he went in, I think, February or March, but it was $900. But things have changed quite a bit since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were looking yesterday and we went on Expedia.
Yeah.
So we're flying today.
Yeah.
Oilers play tonight. They play Thursday. So we're flying back Friday.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us here. I'll just do one traveler, actually. We don't need to all go right now. We can add after.
Just ask
Once we find
for the PJ.
It's I'm using Expedia too right now to see what we've got here. Nonstop 423 for the flight. Oh, we're missing.
That's one way.
Did you say 420?
400 round trip
Oh, that's round. Really?
for just the flight. Carry on included.
Then what was Dusty looking
But
at?
we're landing in 8:29 today.
So you're not getting in for the game.
Oh, yeah.
ain't getting in for the game
then
today.
it wouldn't be worth it.
But you're there for the next game.
That's weird
True.
because Dusty looked it up like a couple of times. Yesterday, a few days ago.
Well, what is this? I got my dates wrong. Never mind. For some reason, I did May.
What are we doing?
I did May 20th. Oh, I can't fly today. There's nothing that's saying for today.
I think there's like a 5 o'clock flight that we saw.
Let's try
Okay, what
this.
if you want to like?
Let's say if we
scramble
went
like,
tomorrow.
Steve's
Doesn't
doing good,
EST have the private jet?
I was going to say
We're working on it.
GCL
Okay.
Diesel has a private jet, sir.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I always say that. I always
Load
say
it up.
that. Ken, let's get on the GCL jet and then take off somewhere.
I actually thought he was going to be like, yeah, we have a helicopter
I'd
or
like
something.
to go to Monte Carlo if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I screwed up. If we fly out tomorrow, it's $2,000.
See?
Oh, we could get it for $1,500.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
We could leave at 11:44 tomorrow and get there at 4:40. We have to go to Seattle.
I was just gonna ask you
gross.
that. I
Alaska
bet you all the
Airlines.
direct flights are also sold out.
Well, no, we could get on the
price up.
WestJet one for $2,000. There's 5 left.
Ridiculous.
So we could get on. We could bring one more person with us. And then there's the hotels. Although I did see like the Strat or something is like $2.
Oh my
You know what?
goodness.
But you're at the
What,
point there.
Circus not
Why?
available? or-
Oh,
That's,
gross.
Why?
well, if you're spending that much on the flight, you might as well just save maybe a little bit.
My first time to Vegas, I stayed at Imperial
Stays.
Palace, and they had the card dealers that were like impersonators, and then like every 20 minutes, one of them would get up and do a performance, and then they'd do like Michael Jackson or Cher or whatever, and then they'd be like back to like dealing cards. You're like, this is so strange.
That's how fun.
It was wild. That was not a great hotel.
Oh, the Strat, we could get 4 nights or 3 nights for $21 a night.
Yeah,
It's $307 total, including taxes and fees.
they just renovated the Strat.
We could all have our own rooms. It'd be nothing. That's cheap.
Man,
Actually, the flights aren't there. The hotels aren't too crazy right now. Like, I guess maybe depending where it is. Well, Circus is $31 a night.
Oh, it's gone
That's
up.
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah, but circus.
They're having it. Vegas tourism is taking a huge hit right now. One is problem I've read, like TikToks and things too, is that they've just raised their prices so much that across the board people aren't wanting to go to Vegas.
Resort fees, like built-in gratuity, and you
Yeah.
got a tip on top. You feel
Drinks
like,
are $25 USD.
yeah. Remember you get like a $5 drink, walk around wherever, and now it's
Yeah, like
$20.
Vegas just used to be the place to go because it was cheap and you just build a quick
right.
trip, and now it's really got to think about it.
Yeah.
It's like, might as well go somewhere else then, since you've been there so many times.
I still like it.
I know. It's Vegas.
I like
You
it.
can do anything.
I know.
You could do anything in Vegas somewhere else and better. I've always said that.
You're not wrong, Maddie.
You want to go see a show?
not the same.
You want to go see a show? Go to Broadway.
Well, Murray McCourt did that.
I know, but there's like even some of the other stuff. It's called Amsterdam.
Oh,
Casinos, you can do that anywhere now. You do it on your
yeah,
phone.
that's true. It's not the same though.
It's. I will say this: the Vegas casinos weren't special. They were like any casino that I see here in Edmonton.
Yeah,
Like,
the last few times I've been to Vegas, the casinos have been a lot quieter than I remember them
Yeah.
too. But even if you go to a table, the minimums are so high now.
They are.
I love sitting down at a $10 or $5 table,
Yeah.
blackjack table, right, and playing for hours and hours and hours. That's what we used to do. But now to find that, you can't find that. And
It's like $25 a hand now.
minimum.
I think minimum.
If
yeah.
you can find a $25
Yeah.
table.
And it probably goes up on weekends.
Yeah.
I like sitting by the pool and just people watching.
Yeah.
Big pools, but you could go pools in so many other places. You go to Miami.
Well, you're not
Just
wrong.
let's go to Vegas here.
I'm just saying, like,
Vegas
there's
is quick,
better
though. It's
somewhere.
quick
That's
flight.
the
It's
thing.
quick,
It's
yeah.
quick, but since they've raised their prices, it's like, well, you're not that special, Vegas, because the thing that you had was the prices.
Right.
Everything was here for cheap. But if we're gonna have to spend the money, I could go do it better somewhere else. And if I'm having to spend the money, I might as well go do it better somewhere else.
That's right. Like $2,000 a flight. Let's just say, like,
Yeah.
just go somewhere else. Just watch the Oilers on the next round, right?
Maybe our new Vegas insider, Mr. Dixon, has some recommendations and some like local hints for Vegas for anybody that's going down and watch the series. Just curious.
I'll tell you right now, the NHL does not want an Oilers Jets conference final.
You know what though? Who cares? Screw what the NHL wants. They're
I
having
don't
like another record revenue year.
Okay,
They just
good.
signed a ridiculously big deal with Rogers.
Yes.
They've got everything locked up. Why does it matter? Like, I know we always talk about
Commercial
that,
to
and they hate
commercial
ratings
pricing.
and this. They hate when the ratings are low and small market teams make it in. But it's like, screw you. You're a juggernaut
Yeah.
of a business.
I have a question. Is it high because there's so many Canadian teams in? The ratings right now?
I thought they were down.
They're
Oh,
down.
they're down.
Yeah.
They're
I
down in the
misunderstood.
States.
That's I was like, what? Oh, they're
I
up.
don't know, but the NHL, like
Okay.
you want, well, every American Original Six team did make the playoffs, right?
Which are some big markets. No
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
Chicago, Boston,
also,
Pittsburgh, no Philly, no New York.
no Boston, no Chicago.
Yeah.
Those are your core.
Yeah.
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 LA was out quick. So
With you were just saying the Oilers Jets. What about Oilers Leafs? Do you think the NHL would want that?
No.
Yeah, because both Canadian, right?
Again, screw you.
I know, but if you're looking at it from a business perspective, you do not want why I don't know who's broadcasting the Stanley Cup final this year. I don't know if it's TST or ESPN. Why would you, as an American, care about Edmonton and Toronto?
Right.
But half of those people would sit there and be like, "Where's Edmonton?"
That is true.
They would know Toronto, but they don't care at that point. And then you're going up every second night. The other night is the NBA Finals. TV ratings would take a huge hit when you could have. What would their ideal scenario would be? Probably would be Washington versus Vegas.
You don't think they want
Rematch?
McDavid in the finals?
I think that helps, but he plays for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's always going to hurt.
Americans know who. I know sometimes they don't. There's scenarios where they don't know what I'm talking about, but McDavid's still big.
Yeah, but it's the Edmonton Oilers. That's what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Like, it's still the Edmonton Oilers, and right there, there's a large amount of Americans in that just won't care.
Although Connor's raised the Oilers' viewability through the roof.
Oh,
So-
it's them and the Leafs are the two most watchable Oiler franchise or hockey, any Canadian franchises, I would say. But if you're in New York offices and you have the ability to have Vegas in there, you would rather have Vegas in there. Even
Yeah.
Dallas, you'd
Yeah.
rather have Dallas in there because that also just TV viewers. Like, is anyone in Dallas going to watch once the Stars get knocked out, or if the Stars get knocked out?
No.
That's a pretty
Probably
big
not.
TV market.
Speaking of, it's nice that the Oilers got the Saturday nighter over the Leafs. That was surprising.
And it's a 7:00 start.
Yeah.
That's a big victory. I'm taking that.
Some really good draws so far this year. We had a
Yeah.
Friday night and then we had we got a Saturday night. That's
Yep.
For the home playoff games, they've been
Yeah.
weekends.
That's right.
Or for it's been
Friday.
Moss Pit's been
Sunday.
able to have a nice time, and it's
There's some mutants coming out of the moss pit, by the way. Holy smokes. I don't know what's gotten into these kids, but like
Tommy
it's
and I were
wild.
just talking about this,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, let's settle down a little bit. I mean, I was talking with Jade and I went out last night, and she's like, I don't know what's going on. Like they leave the moss pit, they come to my bar, and they turn into absolute idiots. There's fights every night. She's like, I hate Yegwave right now. I'm like,
It's so
Yeah.
cringe.
yeah.
And I was just saying, I'm like, I think it's just this new generation. If someone pushes you, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, right? And you just move on. I think it's a very big thing about their feelings being hurt and their egos are high, and it's just like getting in someone's face, and one thing turns to another, and it's ridiculous. Knock it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen these videos?
I have. Yeah. I follow Yegway.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you that. That's great.
There's so much bad on there. It's just like,
Oh, it just makes us look so bad, and I hate
does.
reading the comments. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Oh, this is Edmonton. Edmonton's this and that." It's like that. This is not Edmonton.
but in one way it is.
Well, it's turned into it. I
It's
guess.
happening. Like, and in one argument that actually is now now.
Okay.
So people need to figure that out and
Yeah.
then maybe take the label off again.
now it is happening here. They are wearing Oilers jerseys. They're the fight, like the LRT fight was stupid too.
Oh, so embarrassing.
But the other thing too is we were talking about it last night, and she goes, "These don't seem like regular people." Like she's like, "These are new people coming to our bar, and I think they're coming from out of town. There's all kinds of." Do you think there's a lot of that? A lot of people coming for the party from outside the city that act like idiots? 'Cause that was a theory she threw out last night, and I was like, you know what, you might be onto something. Because I remember last year, my brother and I, we went to dinner at my parents' place. Then we went for a little nightcap, and it was like a Sunday night. And these two idiots came in, and you could tell they had traveled in, and they were messed up. Like, I don't know what they're on, but they were messed up. One of them handcuffed himself to the planter outside the front door of this bar. Yeah, like that's how screwed up they were. And I'm like, this is who's coming in here. They see what's going on here, and they come in from all over the place, and then they just raise a shit fit. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we see it on Yegwave.
They should be shamed. Like the Vancouver
like-
riots. They
Like
should
in
be.
Game of Thrones shamed.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
don't
Right
know
through the
what
moss
that
pit.
means.
Yeah.
You've never seen the Game of Thrones?
No.
Was it Cersei the
Yeah.
queen? Yeah, they
Yeah.
like stripped her naked, and then
Shame.
the lady was behind her going shame with the bell
Oh.
through the entire, and then they were like throwing crap on her.
Yeah.
I'd have to think more about the out of towner part. I could see some of it being that.
But she brought
Like,
that up last night, and I was like, that's a good point because these are people like the guys that are getting into fights are ones she's never seen before, and like new patrons and stuff. And she goes, yeah, and they're just messed right up.
Well, yeah, like there's enough rural communities or smaller towns outside of Edmonton that aren't too far. That are you really going to come in for just any Oiler game? Well, no, you're going to. There's a big. You don't have tickets. Yeah, I'm going to come in for the Oiler party. I want to go be part of this. I'm an Oiler fan from out of town. Let's all come here, and I could see there's a bit of that, but I'd have to think about that a little bit more. I gotta quickly. Do you have special socks on?
I do.
What do we have on here?
I wear these. Is it my Ted Lasso?
Oh, you got Ted
belief
Lasso socks. Because I thought I saw like orange and blue or something.
No, I wear these last couple games we had to win that I wore them. So
Have you
my
washed them, Cam?
Ted Lasso belief socks, but I do wash them.
I think that's
No,
good.
back in the
Oh, you
day,
gotta
back
wash
in the
the sock
day, I'd
ones, I
have
think.
you'd have your Oilers T-shirt or whatever that you used to wear, kind of thing, or we did have Oilers socks back then, sweat socks, and those you weren't allowed to wash throughout the playoffs back in
even
the,
with
back
the
in the
socks for you.
80s. Yeah. So yeah, those
I-
socks won 5 cups.
I
You
love
should have,
it.
by the time we got into not making the playoffs, those things were gone.
Tattered.
I had a shirt in 06 run that I didn't wash, but I put it on right like an hour before game time, and I didn't wash that the entire run. They got to a cup final. They almost won it in 7. It's just you got to do your part for the team.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 Back in those days, I was very, very superstitious. Not so much anymore, but back when you're young, then you're super. I think you're more superstitious then.
Yeah.
No, Big Uke, I wasn't throwing shade at rural. Maddie just throwing shade at rural. Wow, such a city slicker, downtown elitist with silly goose emojis. It's just that I could see that you're not going to make that trek in January to just go watch the game at some bar. You're going to make that trek when it's nice out because you got to go to the moss pit and then
Get in a fight.
Get in a fight. But I'm going to go to the bars afterwards, and we're going to make this a night because we've come into town for all of this. By the way, did you watch Ted Lasso? I'm
Yes.
assuming, yeah. That was a good show.
It was a good show, yeah. I wish it had.
Did it get
going.
you into soccer at all?
No, not really.
Okay, that makes sense. I had a buddy where the reason I got into Ted Lasso was I had a buddy. He's like, "You like soccer? Watch Ted Lasso." And I was like, "Okay."
but-
and then I watched him. Like, this has nothing to do with soccer. Great show on the side, but if I'm not watching this for soccer, 'cause-
Kind of does. It kind of does show like the management of soccer, the clubs and such. And I
No.
believe there's another season that got renewed.
they're going to do a 4th season.
Oh, are they now?
They're coming back
Yeah.
for a 4th
Oh,
season.
good. Good.
It does a very poor job of explaining the soccer leagues and doing soccer, and it's bad.
But they all have a role in the club.
It's like Mighty Ducks explains
What's wrong with that?
rec hockey and things like that.
What a snob.
Yeah.
know
Yeah,
what
he is an elitist.
What got me into watching soccer more was Lieutenant Eric talking about Liverpool all the time, and I became a Liverpool fan.
No
Now I watch
way.
it, and I actually watch when they're on. I see, oh, Liverpool's playing, so I'll turn the TV on and watch them. Right? It's just I just became a fan because of Eric.
They have like watch parties. I think it's at Cabin.
The
they're wild.
Liverpool Supporters Club of
Yeah.
Edmonton's out there. As a Manchester United fan, Liverpool is my like arch nemesis.
Well, I figured, the Beatles. It was good enough for the Beatles, so it should be good enough
point.
for.
Good point.
Oh, that one hurts, Cam. Although my team's trash right now.
Lieutenant Eric's got a big smile on his face right now. I guarantee it.
They won the league this year.
And they won it going away. It wasn't even close.
What's the cheer the team has to
The
do? That's something guard?
the Guard of Honor.
Guard of honor.
So once you win the title in England, I don't know. I wonder if they do in the other leagues. I'm assuming they do it in the other leagues, because it's not like a Stanley Cup game 7 or 6 clinching game. It's during the season. Once you clinch the title, the next game, whether you're home or away, the opposing team that you're playing has to stand in a line as you come out, and they have to clap for you.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how they even like explain it. I guess it'd be like in hockey if instead of the Stanley Cup being awarded in the playoffs, it's awarded to the President's Trophy champion. And the Winnipeg Jets clinched it. I think it was the night they played the Oilers. They clinched it. So their very next game, I don't know who they played. Let's say it was the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars would have to line up on the ice, and the Winnipeg Jets would have to skate out on the ice in between the Stars, and the Stars would have to give them an applause.
That'd be so
It is so funny.
It would be very awkward.
It is amazing to watch when it does happen, and especially if it like matches up that it's your rival or something like that, and at their club they might have to stand there and give you the guard of honor and clap for you, and it's a weird little tradition that they have, but it's soccer does things their own way. This is the EST Hangout here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sport, presented by Play Alberta. Did anyone, by the way, watch the NHL draft lottery yesterday?
No, I forgot it was on.
I had it on and I missed the actual draw because I had on basketball.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
Oh my! None of you watched it. Okay.
No.
I saw like Calgary get grayed out, and
It was awesome.
Well, it's not must-see TV anymore for us, right? It used to be like.
But how
Great point.
this is the first time they did the draw live. They always flipped cards. So
right,
whatever.
yeah.
This time they
okay.
actually had the balls
Yes.
and there's the codes. And it was a lot of
Sequences, yeah.
fun to watch it happen live because they also updated the odds as it happened. So like the first ball was a 7 and that took Calgary out.
yeah,
They were the only team that got knocked out after the first ball. They didn't have any chance of jumping up their 10 spot.
Well, that's good.
And then I think it was, because it went 11, 12, 13. So then 11 popped up, and then the odds were changing, and then 13, 12 popped up. And then we were like, okay, well, only these teams could win it. And if it's this number, this team wins. If it's this number, this team wins, this number. And they go for it. And then boom, the number comes up, and the Islanders won. And then did it again for the second overall pick. And it was really cool. The NHL came upon something that I think this is fun to watch.
They got something right for a change?
They did.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it was. There's one. Yeah, flipping a card is one thing, and it's like, oh well, which one's going to come? And I don't think any of us are going to forget when we saw Bill Daly flip the golden card for the Oilers, right?
absolutely.
But
You
this
watched
one,
bingo basically last night.
yes,
Okay.
but it's better than flipping cards.
Yeah, because this seemed fair. Can't really say.
But
it's
that
rigged.
was-
Well, some
process
people
they
thought it was
used
rigged anyways.
before.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
exactly.
that's
It's the
what I
exact
mean.
same
Just
process.
televised.
Yeah.
They just did it live, and
But
they,
it
they
was
filmed
all-
it before.
It was all in a room, right? And then everybody was sworn to secrecy.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I was in that room. You
Embargo,
couldn't.
yeah.
You couldn't say anything.
Exactly.
I like that idea better, way better. Doing it live.
I have not watched it the last few years because again, who cares? Like, whatever. Next year I'll watch because Gavin McKenna, like, I want to know where Gavin McKenna is going type thing. But it was one like this year, okay, they were doing it live. I'm like, how's this gonna go? And like with the sequences and because I know like there's a bunch of numbers every team has. Like,
Yeah.
obviously then so Sharks, they had the best, they would have had the most numbers and sequences to win, and it matches out that way. I was like, well, this just seems very confusing how they can do it. It wasn't confusing. And it was just a much better way of doing it that I'm going to give props to the NHL. Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of a room of people in secrecy and they're all sitting there and it gets filmed and released later, and then Bill Daly just comes with the card and they make this like such a big like secret like briefcase. They did it live and it was cool.
They placed the balls in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So it just made
And they
step by
actually
step
like
thing.
the balls were in a little case, so they came
yes.
out and they were sure. And Gary Bettman would I can't do the Gary voice, but he had to go
Gary.
one. He would count 1 to 13, so the ball would come up and be like 1, then it would drop in, 2, drop in.
Interesting. That you know what? It reminds me of World Cup draw when they do the pools, and there's like they have the balls and they pull out the little paper and they'll be like Portugal, and then there'll be like 2 left and they're still swirling the bowl with the balls. It's like, what are you doing? Just pick one. But they do it in like such a like dramatic manner. Everyone's dressed up like they're at a gala, and it's just World Cup draw. Anyway, that reminds
So
me.
The World Cup draw is amazing.
talking about Gavin McKenna for a second.
Yeah.
Where does he rank as opposed to, say, Connor Bedard or when it comes to the next phenom?
That's a good question.
That's a really good
I haven't
question.
seen him enough to
Yeah.
form an opinion, just highlights. But
He just destroyed the WHL though.
I always will just defer when you get exemption status type thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be a little bit higher than a lot of those other ones. I don't like how often do we see players get exemption status and then not become elite players in the NHL? I'd have to go look at exempt status and
There's been more of them lately.
so I guess CHL exemption status, exemption
like, is there
status
anybody
players.
saying, any scouts saying that he is on a McDavid level?
I haven't heard that, but They're already talking about him going to university next year and making NIL money, making a few hundred
Oh, that's
grand.
a good point. Yeah.
And on top of that, the level of competition, I mean, WHL, CHL is great, but now you're playing against guys in their early 20s instead of guys that are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I guess. But, and then he makes a bunch of money on the side too. Kind of like how Matthews went
Yeah, I
to
was going to say,
Europe.
it worked for Austin Matthews, who went
Worked
to
out just
Switzerland.
fine. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what everybody's waiting for. And yeah, he's going to be the consensus number one. I don't know. Maybe he's kind of like in that Celebrini kind of category. And Celebrini was great.
Yeah, he's Celebrini. I put Celebrini ahead of Bedard right now.
A lot of, yeah, I think that's kind of the thought where everyone's at. And that's okay. I mean, Bedard, that team in Chicago was awful.
The team is garbage.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job actually in getting some veterans in for him, but it just didn't pan out.
Now, if you talk to Murray McCourt, like yesterday, he was saying that they're in a great spot and they have a million prospects and they're going to be just fine in a couple of years. So it's all good, apparently.
So did the Oilers in 2010 to 15.
I
right?
was there for that. I had a front row seat.
So McKenna never got exceptional status with the WHL. He only got it with BC Hockey and Hockey Alberta.
Okay.
I've learned that. I didn't know that. It allowed him to play. So the 9 players in the CHL that have ever been given exemption status since 2005. John Tavares in 2005. Aaron Ekblad in 2011. Connor McDavid in 2012. Sean Day in 2013. Joe Veleno in 2015. Wow. Shane Wright in 2019. I forgot about Shane Wright.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
Connor Bedard. Michael Misa
That's the guy
in 2022.
that Murray wants in Chicago.
And Landon DuPont is getting it or got it in 2024.
And yeah, he was really good.
So I thought Gavin McKenna got something, but he's a stud. I think it looks like right now.
Yeah.
I think I think everyone's looking at the fact that we're already talking about his draft next year. I think says a lot about what type of player people are expecting.
Superstar.
Yeah, even it's Murray yesterday saying he didn't want the Blackhawks to win the draft lottery because he wanted them eligible for next year's draft lottery.
Right.
You're gonna want that draft pick.
Yeah, and then he robbed the defense, how they have a whole bunch of defense in our face. Must be nice.
He was very proud of his Blackhawks yesterday. It was great.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. They're still where they are in the standings, and
Yeah, they need a coach. Andrew, the accountant, says, or there was a text that said, I mentioned this the other day, but all the babies that were born during the 2006 Oilers run are in that moss pit now. So maybe it was like meant to be.
The mutants.
I guess
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yeah. They'd be what, 18, 19 now?
Yeah, depending on the 06 to 2025, that's 19.
Oh, it's wild, eh?
Yeah.
Time
I was
flies.
20 that year. Did you guys go on White Ave?
I was too young.
Every time.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Every
White
time.
Ave was great.
It was
Yeah.
nasty.
White Ave was the
It
new
was something
Jasper Ave
else.
because Jasper Ave is where it was in the 80s, right? I remember the 84 Cup was incredible. Jasper Avenue was amazing. And that was my wheelhouse because I was in my early 20s then, kind of thing. And yeah, that party was something else. All spontaneous and everybody.
Okay, take us flashback to 84. They win the cup against the Islanders. Where on Jasper is everybody? Like, what were the places to be? Or was it just you guys took over the street?
The street, it was all shut down. Ever from about, I would say from 100th Street all the way down to probably 109.
That's a good chunk.
And the cops had it all cordoned up. No vehicles in there. Is just all pedestrian people on top of phone booths. If people remember what a phone booth was,
Yeah.
you know, you can dancing up there, climbing the light posts and the signal lights. It's like, it was everybody high-fiving everybody else, everybody hugging each other,
That would have been
guys kissing girls, just grabbing everybody. Everybody,
Just having a good time.
Everybody's having a good time, right?
No fighting. You
Was
guys
there-
need to have a little bit of like a lecture or something. Like, this is what we did in the 80s. We won 5 cups.
everybody was.
You guys
kissing.
haven't won anything yet. And what are you guys doing? Fighting?
Yes.
Come on, figure it out.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And it feels like yesterday.
Aw. That's amazing.
Were people in bars watching like they do now?
Not to the extent they do now.
Okay.
But it wasn't a big thing. Like even like wearing it was tough to even buy a jersey back then. It's hard. You had to go to a specialty store or something to find it. There was no big retailers of jerseys and everything like that. So it was really tough. So you'd dress up, you'd wear orange and blue or whatever. If you didn't have a jersey, you'd wear something orange or something blue kind of thing. And it's like,
So they would just
there was
like
no marketing back then when it came to retail product.
so everybody would watch it at home kind of thing and then like head out.
Yeah. Did that.
Okay.
Before you do that, continue. There's just a shout out in the Nasty Club I need to give.
Yeah.
We need to give a shout out to Onway Junior Senior High Grade 11.
For a
That's what it says
scavenger
here.
hunt, I
They're in a
believe.
scavenger hunt against the grad 12s.
Okay.
But our shout out is to grade 11s
11s.
from the Onway Junior Senior High School. Grade 11s, shout out from the EST Hangout to you. Hopefully that. Our school has a competition where our teacher, Mr. Daly, creates a scavenger hunt between the grade 11s and 12s. We have to collect and complete everything on the list, and you get points for each. So this is for the grade 11s, not for the grade 12s. Shout out grade 11s.
And they get points for
Go
that?
grade
think so.
11.
We're helping them with
grade
Great grade.
we're helping them trying to beat the grade 12s. So I don't know what they needed for that one, but they got it.
Yeah, we're sending you good vibes.
I like it.
Back to what you're going to
Oh,
ask.
I was just gonna follow up on what Cam was talking about, like the '80s and early '90 Cup. I've gone down this like ridiculous rabbit hole the last few weeks. Somebody has taken their old VHSs, digitized them, and put them on YouTube, and they're basically like the Hockey Night in Canada broadcast with local media stories and hits and stuff like that from those years. And I was watching the '90 Cup win. And then they cut from the national CBC to the local CBC, and it was raining that day when they won, and here it was, but there was people on Jasper Ave, and they had the reporter down on the street. The camera guy was, I don't know if he was on top of the roof of the Eaton Center City Center Mall. That's what it is now, and people were going wild, but it was raining, so like they would come and go in little packs, and I was like, this is strange. But like it looks like everyone was just full of joy, but at the same time, like this seems so weird.
That reminds me, I need to do that with my beta tapes and my VHS tape and
Get
put them
them.
because I've got I recorded basically every Oiler game back then when those recorders came out, and so I've got a lot of all the playoff games I'd have from the '80s and everything. Just
Well, I love
if they haven't disintegrated by now,
you'll be surprised. Like some of those hold up really well. Yeah. But I always would watch because I always loved the old Hockey Night Canada intros and the music and all of that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember these songs. I remember, was it Ken Daniels was on Hockey Night for a while.
That's right.
And a young Ron McLean and CC as a reporter, not a play-by-play guy. Detition was in there. Not Perry Solokowski. Al McCann, I think, was in there. Lisa Miller. Anyway, I'm watching this. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And of course, it takes you down the algorithm gets you. And somebody has put up these, and they're like 3 hours long. And then I'll skim through, or I'll watch again. Like the other day during the intermissions for the Jets Blues game, I flipped on YouTube and I found the 1990 first round Jets Oilers. And I watched like the first two periods. And I'm just like, why am I watching this? I know who wins.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it's fascinating to look back and see that. So I'm just, anyway, I'm going to probably do that tonight when I go to sleep.
The 1991 Oilers Flames series that went 7 games, the one you always see Fleury scoring in overtime, stealing puck from Messier and scoring then on his knees and everything. And then Oilers come back to Calgary, win Game 7 overtime. Esa Tikkanen scores his hat trick goal type of thing. That I've got tape. And then they go to the TSN feed after that, the sports desk, to watch all those old guys. Well, they're old now, but doing the reporting and the live hits and everything like that. That's amazing. That series, I think, was one of the greatest series I ever saw because that was so much animosity between two teams that just hated each other and just back and forth, bang, 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 bang. It was just that.
That was the end of it, right?
That was pretty much the end of it because that's when the guys were, that was Messier's basically final Swan Song in
Yeah.
Edmonton kind of thing, and you still had the, Al McInnes and Flurries and that Neuendijk still there in Calgary, right? So
This I should have asked this to like our peers, like guys like Mark Connolly. But back then when '91 happened, did everyone kind of know Messier was leaving?
I think it was the next year that's when.
Yeah.
That's when.
But did people around here have the idea like it was over?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Because I read his book too, and he's in the book. He's like, yeah, they're selling guys off. I knew my time was up, and he was hurt or something like that. But he had a monster year.
Yeah, the Gretzky sale really hit him hard.
Yeah,
That was hard for him.
that was crazy.
That was hard for him. And the fact that Slats didn't want to pay him what he was worth. He won an MVP, I think, in '90.
Yeah,
And then, for what he'd done, but Slats was working for Peter, and Peter had a budget because Peter had to pay off other debts.
wasn't that the Gainers?
Yeah,
that was bad.
That's right.
Really quickly to cap this, Don Metz told me this one time. That the day Gretzky got traded, they did that press conference at Molson House, which is now Brewery District, for those that don't know. And he said that he was like getting ready to go down to the press conference, and there was like a little black rain cloud, and it was right over top of Molson House. Now, Don is known to be a little bit dramatic and maybe hyperbolized, but I was like, ooh, chills.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Metzy. Anyway, sorry, that's it. That's all I got.
No, it's fine. It was so 84 was the most fun one for you of the 5, or
Oh, they were all good.
Yeah.
87 was a big one because we got pushed to the limit by Philly.
Yeah.
Took it to game 7. That should have been over in 5, and we let him back in. And I'm saying we, but as a fan, but
Yeah.
but that. Well, I was working for the team then at the time.
Oh, you were?
So I was down. I helped out in the dressing room, that kind of stuff. So I was on the bench, actually right behind the bench in Game 7, and when Glenn Anderson scored late to seal it, make it a 3-1 game, and I think that was the most enjoyable, I think, from winning that Game 7, because in '84, you'd still have a chance. If you didn't win Game 5, you're still in it, right?
Yep.
But that was the most pressure. But 84 was phenomenal because the first one is always special.
I was gonna say that, like that feeling that you have not, experienced in the first time, and that must have been wild. And I hope that I get to experience that feeling.
I want everybody to experience. I say to other generations, right? I said, man, I want you guys to be able to experience. Like I've got buddies in Toronto that say, hey, all I want to do is just see the Leafs win one cup, because all my life, I've never had anything. I want to see you win one cup. And I say, well, I don't want you to see that. I feel more for the people in Edmonton.
Yeah. Of course. What were you doing for the team?
Did things like worked in the dressing room. So I worked with Sparky and Barry Stafford and those guys, and on the visiting team did a lot of equipment loading and setting up the dressing rooms.
Yep.
And then actually there's 2 of us did it, and then we would do we'd run contests in between periods. So we were the guys that did the Scoro or the Dash for Cash all this kind of stuff, kind of thing. Had to stop the 3 stars after the game, kind of thing.
Right.
And so get the visiting team out, and so it was a game day stuff.
Yeah.
Game day stuff. So.
Now, okay, you were there for 87. Did you see all the stuff, the shenanigans with the cup? You saw all that,
lot
like
of
where
stuff,
Sparky hit it, and they said that it left with the circus, and it was already on its way to Calgary. Do you know about this?
no?
What?
Because Mike Keenan would bring the cup in and put it in the Flyers locker room before every game. And then Sather caught wind of it, and he's like, enough of that. And the cup was just around. Like, there was no keeper of the cup. And Slats had Sparky grab it, put it in its case, and, like, tuck it into, like, a storage area. And then the league's like, where's the cup? And and the Flyers were looking for it to put it in the room again. And they're like, oh, we don't know. The circus must have taken it, and it's already in Calgary. And so they were like they had RCMP like chasing the circus convoy,
Oh my goodness.
and it was just tucked in.
There were great Rexall, great hiding places there.
Yeah.
So like we would go because they have champagne before stuff, and I said, well, we have to go on
Hell
the ice
yeah.
and grab all the sticks and gloves off. That's our
Yep.
job, to grab and put them in garbage bags, bring them back in. So we'd go before and say, oh, here's the champagne. I said, well, let's grab a couple bottles for ourselves, and we're going to stash them somewhere
Yes.
where nobody's going to find them, so
Awesome.
we can get them after and bring them in and pop the corks in the dressing room, right?
You're right. There's that old building it was like a labyrinth. There's that weird back corridor you could go down by the locker room. And you're like, where am I right now? And
I know. I still have a master key that can get you into any room.
Oh, yeah?
Or anything. Yeah.
You should go make a drive down today.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get in.
One last visit.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I'm gonna miss that place when it's gone.
Yeah. It was functional. Like a lot of great memories, but like it was time to move on, I thought.
Had great sound though.
But do you
They
think
kept
it-
that sounding so well.
You think if they ever got a women's professional team here, wouldn't that be the ideal place to play? That's what they're doing in Vancouver. They're playing the Pacific Coliseum.
Yeah.
Basically the same building as our Coliseum.
I think Uncle Daryl wants all
No,
that.
he wouldn't
Yeah.
allow it. I know it's
Yeah.
in his.
It would have been
his
great
deal,
for a
right?
few things,
Sure.
But now it's just like I don't even know what it would look like inside.
It's gutted.
Oh, it's got to be.
I know, but just like the like
There'd be
what
a lot of ghosts and
Yeah.
various things
and like mice and cobwebs.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
bats. I think there were some
Spooky.
bats because the people did the walkthrough. How long ago was that? 2 years ago.
Yeah.
There was a recent walkthrough that some of the media got to go do.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You couldn't even. It's not even a point of renovating, but it would have been. There was a use to it still if you had both going. Well, even they wanted to do one of
All the
the
community
design
rinks
was
and
put in like
everything there.
4 to 6 community
Yeah,
rinks
that'd
in
been
there.
awesome.
Renovate it and have it as extra ice for the city. That's one thing I think we could all
City
agree on the
needs
city
it.
needed. It was a lot of more ice instead of splitting in half always and trying to get people out from 4 a.m. till 2 p.m. or whatever it is. But that's a shame that will go away.
It did have some neat nooks and crannies, though. Yeah. I like
There's
that.
a lot of back rooms, back hallways that nobody ever knew about
Yeah.
unless you were there all the time.
Unless you knew.
I hated the elevator though. I did everything I could not to take that elevator.
There's only 2 elevators in that building.
I did not like the one that for the media.
Did you
like
have to
that
take
media
the
spot.
freight elevator? Did you ever
Oh,
take
I
the
never
freight
did the freight elevator, that's
No,
right.
you didn't. A lot of the media guys would take the freight elevator up.
Yeah,
No,
I think
there's-
you'd have to go into the dry dock area for that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was the one though by the media room.
Yeah, the one by the game day off.
That one
game
I was just
box
like I
office or
just did
whatever.
the stairs all the time because I'm like
Yeah.
this thing's gonna crash. That's gonna be the death of me.
It was pretty rickety and slow and stopped on every floor, and you're like, brutal. But
That was very hey, we ride an elevator every day.
yeah, that's true.
I'm fine. It was that one elevator was just like nope.
Well, it probably hadn't been touched since 1976.
It probably couldn't pass an inspection at any point in the last 5 years
Yeah.
that it was operational and stuff like that.
Do you remember All Stars, the lounge? Mm-hmm. That was another thing too. They had a lounge up in the Sky Suites. It was like a hidden gem.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah,
Do you remember? Okay, so
I remember the
there's
upper, like the luxury box at the very top.
the very top one. There was like a restaurant up there.
Really?
Yeah, I remember when I worked for the team. We actually had an event there, and I was like, where am I? Like, what is this? I've been to this building a million times. I've never been up here. Yeah. It, like Cam said, it had a lot of like...
Yeah, they put that in after when they did the renovation in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before they had a restaurant that was kind of on the, what's the level they call it now? Right behind the Blues type of thing. There was a restaurant
Oh,
they
yeah,
would
yeah.
had there for a while. But that was the only food facility in the whole building for so many years kind of thing. And
Yeah, that's funny. I remember that launch. When we shut that building down, we did a documentary on it at Oilers TV. You learn a lot of stuff. Like Rod Phillips was like, I remember the first game they did here against Cleveland, and it was just like an hour to puck drop, and the guys had to dress in the old room at the Gardens, and they had to walk across the pedway with all the fans to get to the rink.
my
in their
dad
gear.
took me to that game. That was I was at the first game, so I can say I was at the first game, at the Coliseum, and at the last game.
That's pretty
I
cool.
think so.
That
So
is
my goal now is to be the first game at Rogers Place and the last game at Rogers Place for the new
absolutely,
arena.
absolutely.
So hopefully I can hang on for another 30 years or so.
Did your seat have to get bolted in like right before you sat in it?
No, it was there, but there were
What?
there were concrete blocks that you had to step over. Just
It wasn't done.
no, it wasn't.
I think
done
they
yet.
delayed it by a day too.
It was delayed, yeah, and it was I think even 2 hours because I think it was a Sunday. It ended up being a Sunday night because I think it was supposed to be Saturday, and they played it on Sunday, and yeah, but it was awesome. I remember that. I remember I said, "Dad, can you take me to this game?" He said, "I'll see what I can do." He wasn't a hockey fan or anything,
Oh,
but
geez.
but he liked to take care of his boys, right? So he said, "Okay." So he took me in that. I'll never forget that. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. It's a brand new building because we've been going to games at the old Edmonton Gardens and everything. Like this is like a palace.
Yeah.
Thing. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
Jacques Plante was in goal for the Oilers.
That's right.
Our goalie, which is another amazing thing. And
He only played home games.
only played home games.
Yep.
That's in his contract.
Did you know that?
No,
You're like befuddled by this.
I am. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing to see first time in your life. Like Rexall, like wild.
Yeah.
I'm just wow. Good for you. And then the Rogers. That's a good flex, you know.
That's a huge
Yeah.
full circle.
Yeah, it is. That is.
Question.
circle.
I got one about the gardens. Do you remember a lot from the gardens? Did it really smell like hot dogs and cigarettes?
Oh yeah, and onions, grilled onions.
Yeah.
and onions. Yeah.
That's what Al Hamilton told me. I was
Oh,
like, what
yeah,
are you
'cause-
talking about? He's like, everyone's smoking and eating hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
With
and
onions.
Every
Like the
smoking all the
fans?
time.
Yeah.
And then then you'd go into like the. Say you had to go into the washrooms or
Yeah.
whatever, and big long trough urinal. So with all the wet cigarettes and everything, and that was an interesting smell when
Yeah.
you go in there, kind of thing. But
like
yeah,
going to McMahon Stadium.
the rest of the building, yeah, from the concessions, just the smoke coming off the grill and everything with the onions and everything.
Yeah.
it was good. And then they'd have if you were up in the nosebleeds behind one of the nets, and it went up to the back. And you'd have double bench seats that, like it's twin. It's almost like, the Friendly Giant, like one chair for two of you to curl up in. So they have these bench seats that you'd sit in, pull down, and all wood, to no padding or anything like that.
I've seen that once in Verdun, just outside of Montreal. They had that old arena that's like 100 years old, and they had those wooden seats. It was like church pews.
Yeah.
And I was like, what
Exactly.
the hell
Yeah,
is
that's
this?
right.
And you're right. Yeah, it was a two-seater. Each divider was like room for two people.
Now you have cup holders.
Now you've got cup
You got
holders,
couple.
yeah.
Yeah.
Abutsky, I won the 50-50 at the last spectator game at the Coliseum. Golden Bears versus Ooks. $3,200, all 20s.
Nice. All 20s.
Back then.
Took it to the casino and doubled it.
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout, they are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. We got Cam Kish from GCL Diesel, Jasmine, Tommy, Matt with you on Edmonton Sports Talk. Coming up at 11, it will be the Lock Shop. At noon, it is two guys and a goalie. We got EST afternoons. We've got the Reed Wilkins show until 6 o'clock with Jay Mill, and then Tommy will be live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate, 170th Street, across from West Edmonton Mall, for Game 1's GCL Diesel Ulstream pre-game show and post-game show. You'll be there for that one as well.
I hope so.
Unless the games goes like 4 or 5 overtimes
I'll still
long
be there.
in there.
Well, Curtis will leave it open for me.
I've always wondered about that. If there's that really long one. We had one back at 12:60 that I thought, oh, this one's getting a little long, and the bar might have to close soon. But yeah, so that we've got you covered here on Edmonton Sports Talk as Oilers getting set to take on the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 1 of their second round series.
Do you have a puck drop time?
It's usually like 15 minutes after the scheduled time. Just that's a rule of thumb I use.
Okay.
Because like the 8 o'clock was at 8:20.
But there were 8:10s.
It was
There were
8:10.
couples.
Exactly, which was nice.
I would guess like 7:40.
Okay.
Yeah, Hurricanes Caps goes at 5.
Yeah. That'll take
So
2
I
and a
could
half.
see 7:50.
750.
Sure. Which is better than 8:20, which is better than 8:30, which is better than 8:40. We had an 8:52 in LA one game. I think it was a Drew Doughty night. Yeah. Cole Harbor Joe text in said, my 18-year-old is a product of the 06 run and is definitely a moss pit kid. Can confirm.
Oh,
Nice, Cole Harbor.
What did Dash had to quote? It's your 19th birthday this month too. Everyone at the moss pit to each other.
Maybe they're just celebrating birthdays on the moss pit. Yeah.
I do want to get to the Play Alberta over and under, brought to you by Play Alberta. Why limit your choices when you can have it all? Play Alberta is your go-to app for casino games, sports betting, and lottery, all in one place. With easy access to real money games, you can enjoy everything Alberta has to offer right at your fingertips. Download Play Alberta now and start playing today. Everyone see the Bennett elbow on Stolars yesterday?
He issued.
He is not getting any sort of discipline that has come out today. But I'm going to set over and under. What should have he gotten over or in a 0.5 games?
You guys go ahead.
I think it's worth a game.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty greasy. He's got a history with doing stuff like that, right? But I guess if you can get away with it, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
But
Does he?
if your star goalie is puking, and I understand there was a puck to the head before, I believe, right? But if he's vomiting and it's a clear concussion, there needs to be a consequence.
Why? Like what?
You caused the concussion. You caused an injury to another player.
I'm sure he's saying it's incidental. I would take the under.
Incidental chicken wing.
Incidentally
there,
got his
I
elbow
think.
in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of have
was-
appreciation for the dark arts, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I love greasy players like that. That's the kind of player I would have been.
Yeah.
If I was able to play, that's how I would. I wouldn't have been one of the dirtiest players.
I would too, I think. But
It's just
but a head injury, and to know that now the Leafs are probably not going to have him in the next 2 games easily due to concussion protocol, as that's according to
Yeah, a little chicken wing.
a doctor. Yeah.
This goes back to the fact that he got a shot in the head earlier in the game, didn't get pulled by the concussion spotter, has this elbow to the head, and still plays a little bit longer.
Yeah.
that's another thing.
That's the thing the NHL needs to probably be looking at is what was the concussion spotter doing? Because, if he got pulled at the right time, Bennett wouldn't have. Because there is a point where it's like, okay, the concussion kind of maybe actually did happen earlier. I think, though, when you've got a goalie vomiting and amplifies, he's on a stretcher in the hospital.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I think that, and when the elbow chicken wing comes out, I think that's worth a game. I think if you're seeing a goalie puking and he's out with a concussion, that's worth a game.
You know what? I think it would have been. I think he would have got a game had Florida come back and won that game. But seeing as they lost that game, I don't think they're going to pull him out.
Yeah, I know.
I can see the NHL doing something like that.
That's the way
100%.
the NHL operates.
It is kind of. You know what? I kind of agree with you guys. I want to change my mind, but just to be contrarian, I'll leave it at an under.
No.
But I do see what you're saying.
That's,
Somebody put together a compilation of Sam Bennett's dirty plays, and I was like, this guy is a grease ball, and I love.
Oh, you'd love him on your team.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he be perfect here? Oh,
Yes, 100%.
there's a lot of people right now in the nasty chat saying
Yeah.
0, dive for Stolars, not a suspension, under, no penalty, wasn't his elbow.
Solidarity. All
The
right.
Leafs hate is real.
I will
Here,
throw
here.
this out there to every single one of you in the nasty chat as they're saying that. If that happens tonight to Calvin Pickard, you will be screaming bloody murder for a suspension.
Yeah.
If the exact same play happened to Calvin Pickard tonight, you will be so angry if there is no suspension. This is the Toronto Maple Leafs, so that's why this is, I think, not you. I think for some people it's, this isn't a suspension. Like, the guy ended up getting a concussion. Well, he had he got elbowed in the head. He was puking on the bench. And
hard to
I think
watch.
Cam, he does have a history. That should play into this.
Should.
With that as well.
He did issue some statement today. Well, in an interview, he says, "I heard that he went to the hospital last night, and Stoley's a good friend of mine. Reached out to him, and he responded. Never want to see an injury like that. From my point of view, I'm just taking a puck to the net. I didn't even know we made contact until after."
PR 101.
I forgot that they played together last year. That's right.
Tony Stolars. Hey,
Hey,
former
we had
Oiler.
it. Yep.
Yeah. Him,
Oiler
Petrovic.
legend.
Yeah. Nathan Walker had a very good first round. I was like, they were all on the same.
I was watching Dallas and Petrovic playing for Dallas, and then I say to myself, no team with Alex Petrovic on it can win a series, like just from the way he played here. But
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people on that team here in Edmonton, 18 and 19, where you're just like, it was hopeless. That was bad. That was really bad.
Nathan Walker, yeah, he's found himself a spot.
Yeah,
I love Nathan Walker.
very friendly guy. Funny
Well, he's
accent.
Aussie.
Yeah.
You have to be friendly.
It's the way I always go to, like, the obscure jerseys. I want a collection of those, and it's the Nathan Walker Edmonton Oilers jersey I want. The guy played 2 games, 1 game.
Couple games, yeah.
Like, he played nothing.
Yeah.
And like, people then would think my last name's Walker.
Sure.
If I had that jersey,
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know, it's Nathan Walker. Like, I'd be that guy too. That'd be very arrogant. Like, well, you don't know Nathan Walker?
Well, how many obscure Frasers played for the Oilers in the 2010s? You had Mark Fraser,
Colin Fraser.
Colin Fraser, you had Matt Fraser. So there's 3 right there. We can get you a nice like Eero Puckarinen jersey.
Yeah, I saw a guy at the last game with Dick Tarnstrom jersey.
Classic.
What
That's
a good pull.
Great pull.
That's one from the past.
Yep.
That's 06 run, 23.
Yep.
Dick Tarnstrom.
I will say that is one of the best things to do is looking for the jerseys in the crowd that are that are different. Yeah, it's great to have the McDavid and Drysdale, and you see a lot of those. But Dick Tarnstrom, bravo to that individual.
He was good before, even when he got to the Oilers. Like he had like a 40 or 50 point season in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Before the Oilers picked him up. If you have like a Sebastian B. Sion jersey, that is a good pull. He lives here now. Apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They had to call him up right out of junior. That's how bad things were that 06-07 season. Facts.
They completely changed their blue line in 06 throughout the whole season from the city because it was Pronger, Spacek, Tarnstrom. They were all added to the team.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty big additions and changing to your
Matt
team.
Green
They
came
made.
like late in the season.
Remember they signed Rem Murray?
Yep, he had to
Late in
forfeit
that
the
season.
cash he got from having his career ended by injury. He had to give it back.
To go play in that run?
They brought in Rem Murray because the trade for Dean McCammon didn't go through. It was too late to get registered by the league.
They try to get Dean McCammon back? Oh, wow.
Kevin Lowe had a deal for Dean McCammon. Yeah, it didn't get.
And Dean went to Ottawa the next year, went on the cup run with them. We had Dean on the station last week.
Great guy. He's
Yeah.
a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super nice.
really nice guy.
And just watching his hockey. Yes.
Oh, nothing. Just that Justin Bieber was also watching the Leafs. He did not attend the Met Gala with his wife, Haley. I know, right? Same with Timothy Chalamet, was watching the Knicks. He did not attend the Met Gala either. Just breaking news for everybody, okay?
Well, speaking of that, Jordan, right off the top of the show, said Met Gala review from Jasmine today, question mark.
Okay, yeah, I actually
Go
did
for
end
it.
up watching a lot of Met Gala, and I had basketball on my computer and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Lot of athletes. Tommy did want to issue that LeBron James
Thank you.
did tweet that he did not attend the Met Gala.
I appreciate knowing that. Yeah.
But his wife did. She's stunning. Yeah, a lot of athletes went. Stephon Diggs was my favorite look. If you guys go take a look. I wish we had Brendan here so I could show you guys some of the looks. I know you're just dying to know, sir.
Yeah.
But Rihanna also revealed her 3rd pregnancy too, so that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
What did we miss?
One more thing, actually, another person I really loved, Lewis Hamilton. If you saw his look.
He was at the Met Gala?
Yes, he was. There was
Well, I
so
guess they
many
were in
celebrities.
Miami
Yeah.
for the race anyway, yeah.
There's lots. There was Serena Williams, Jalen Hurts,
Were there any-
Saquon Barkley.
Were there any ridiculous like outfits, like something made of sand or
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's been some like crazy
like Lady
ones.
Gaga style.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Can you please say her name
I
properly?
knew you were gonna do this. Gaga.
Lady Gaga. Yeah.
Honestly, no. I thought it was pretty safe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A lot of the same corsets and suits.
My question is though, we're not even a month into the baseball season, but why would the Mets be having a gala right now?
That's a great
I
question.
love it.
You know, I don't.
I never
understand.
wondered about that. That's a good point.
Aren't the Mets doing well, by the way?
They're doing so well right now that they can afford to have a night.
that's probably
They're just going to celebrate the fact that last I saw they were best in baseball.
They're going to collapse down the stretch, so they'll celebrate early.
Yeah.
this year.
They're 1.5 back of the Dodgers for the best record in baseball, so they're just celebrating that. They're ahead of the Yankees right now, so maybe they're just celebrating the fact that they're for the moment.
The team in New York.
The quote unquote team in New York when they're not. It's always going to be a Yankee city.
Seriously.
Understand that, Mets, but
What the hell is the Met Gala, by the way?
It's a massive fundraiser
Oh.
for the Museum of Arts.
Okay.
And all these celebrities
And the
showing
team, the baseball team, clearly.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
According to Cam here, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's for a good cause, good initiative, and they always have a theme. This was, I believe, this was black tailored. This theme, I believe, was promoting like fashion. And like African Americans and such.
Okay.
Yeah.
there's not supposed to be any filming or anything inside, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like what happens inside?
There's
right?
like, I don't think it's allowed to be filmed or
Yeah.
talked about almost in a sense of what's
like
going
a-
on inside. It's very
Fight Club like?
prestigious, if you will.
prestigious. Do they just like eat and drink and like have speeches? Like I wonder,
I guess so.
right?
Yeah.
Big Uke, the Mets helped cash our first Grand Est parlay. They were celebrating that, which you can go into the Play Alberta, click on EST specials to get the various Dusty's Play of the Day, the Lock Shop Parlay, Jay's Play of the Day, but there is also the Grand Est Parlay, which is the DGen Den giving up their daily picks. Actually, I got to jump in on one a little bit later today. Oh, no, that one's going. They changed that end date. Jay's play of the day yesterday was the Edmonton Oilers winning 9+ games this year. That's at plus 120. The lock shot parlay from yesterday, which is still up. Oilers win the series and the Caps to win their series plus 305. The early bird, Dusty's got this for the game today. Draisaitl 1 goal, Bouchard an assist, Evander Kane 3 shots. That's plus 430. Jay's play of the day for today is the Oilers to win and the Caps to win as well. There's a lot happening in special bets. PlayAlberta.com or download the app, click on EST specials, and we've got those plays that are there for you as EST is presented by Play Alberta. And the EST Hangout is presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transitions. By Canadian, the Mother's Day deals are on now. There's 50% off 12 weeks on all units, or you can get 75% off 8 weeks on 10x10 units, or 4 weeks free on selected units. Sentinel.ca to find more information on convenient locations nearest you. I know. I'm having a rough last couple of days with the tossing.
Man, what's going on?
I don't know.
You have something?
Cam, do you ever dabble in NBA at all? Do you ever just change the channel and put it on for a bit?
I'm not a big NBA guy.
Same.
I'm not,
I know.
NBA guy, but
There was some really good basketball yesterday.
I was trying to, when I spend some time in Arizona in the winters, I try to follow the Suns. I go to a few Suns games and that kind of thing, but they were just awful this year.
Yeah.
Which a team with Devin Booker and Durant shouldn't be awful.
Yeah.
No, you're
Didn't even make the play-in
cleaned-
tournament.
And they cleaned house again. Their coach, Boldenheiser, or whatever his name was, he had 1 year.
Yeah.
He won a championship in Milwaukee, and then
I think they owe him a lot of money. if I'm
because
not
he signed a
mistaken.
5-year deal, and then they turfed him after 1 year, which seems a little.
Well, and they hired Frank Vogel the year before and turfed him after 1 year.
That's right.
So they're paying a couple coaches now. What did he get? He got a 5-year, roughly $50 million deal.
Jeez.
So they owe him close to $40 million. That'd be nice,
Yeah, it would be really nice.
but
Stay in Scottsdale.
couldn't get it done.
Whatever.
Yep.
So just hockey, or what else? What other sports? Do you have other sports that you kind of gravitate to,
Are you
or
Cardinals
just hockey?
Yeah, I am.
Me too.
Just for the time, just being down there, you have
Yeah.
to be, right? So I go to a lot of the games down there too, and things like.
We used to have a family home down there. I miss it so much.
Yeah,
Bird
it's
gang.
it's
Caw.
it's tough being a Cardinals fan because they haven't. I hope they're going in the right direction.
I
now.
think they are. I think there's some positive momentum.
Jonathan Gannon's a good coach.
Yeah.
And they've got some management in there now that they cleaned house. So hopefully,
Yeah, they had to get rid of Steve Keim.
yeah,
He was a
it's
mess.
time had come. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be okay. Okay, Jazzy, you want to talk about the NBA?
Quickly, just quickly, because
yeah.
it deserves to be talked about just because it was
yes.
2 good games yesterday. Maddie, did you catch any of it?
No.
Okay, so that's okay.
He's watching
I saw
bingo.
I saw the end of Nuggets and Thunder. Saw the very end of it.
And I missed the end of it because I really thought OKC was going to deliver. That was crazy. I saw the highlights.
Thunder up.
Thunder down.
Yikes.
Yeah, so they choked.
So you didn't watch your team finish their game.
I was a little cocky, not gonna lie. But otherwise, Knicks, Brunson, and Nobi combined for 28 points. They made a 20-point 58 points. They made a 20-point comeback in the half.
Damn.
That was a hell of a game to watch. The end of the overtime. Just wanted to throw it out there. Association was associating. Okay.
What'd you just say?
I don't know what I meant by that.
I didn't even understand. Did you hear what she said?
Nope.
Something
I'm just
I just
smiling
heard
politely.
something associating or
The
something like that.
association was associating.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Pacers, Cavs today, and Golden State Warriors and Timberwolves. That will be very interesting. I feel like at least chime in the last couple minutes, nasties.
Is Reggie Miller still playing for the Pacers? Or
No, but
No?
he's the commentator now.
Oh,
He's an
right,
awful
right, right,
commentator.
Is he
You
really?
I
like-
can't stand
I
him.
like him.
He says the worst things. Obvious, like he's a bad broadcaster.
Ouch.
Oh, he's not good. There's so many, but there's so much better out there. He'll say the most obvious things, or he's even wrong with some of the things that he'll say. This strategy
he-
or
where is
something.
he?
He's biased a bit, right?
How does he
I don't know
compare
about
PK
bias.
Subban?
Oh, PK's a moron. PK. Here's the thing with PK. PK is just trying to be Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
That's what I think PK's doing is he's looking at it going, I want to be Stephen A. Smith. So what do I have to do? I've just got to somewhat scream, come up with a take.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the take is, and just defend the hell out of it and call everyone wrong. But I'm going to be Stephen A. Smith. That's what I feel like PK is trying to do.
Don't do that. Did you see Stephen A. Smith, his acting in whatever, it was a soap opera? And he,
Like Days of Our Lives or something?
something like that.
Was
yeah.
it like last year or something?
he was
like
in
that?
it again.
Really?
Yeah. He killed a lady.
Stephen A.
Killed a nurse.
Smith
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. In the show, obviously.
acting.
But he's like doing CNN now. Like they've got him doing everything.
He markets himself well, and I totally agree with Maddie with PK Subban doing the same thing, trying to just be a big peacock, right?
His return to General Hospital
That's the
sparks outpouring of laughter on first take.
Valid. And with good reason. Like if you watch it, like he does side gun and he shoots her with a silencer, and then he gets on his phone, he's like, hey, I got a body here you might be interested in. And then it cuts to commercial and you're like, what the hell was that?
You did a good job.
Thanks. I'm looking for my General Hospital debut to happen soon too.
I'd love to write for a soap opera.
It's just ridiculous.
Exactly.
What would you write?
You just have to come up with the most ridiculous thing ever, and it works. Like that's it. Like you could just be absolutely insane, and you could kill anyone off and bring them back at any point.
Absolutely.
Like you could bring and all you have to bring them back is actually they really didn't die, or it's the twin.
Yeah, but what
But
about
they've got the brain of the other person. I think that was Dr. Drake Ramore from Friends and stuff. Like you could come up with the most ridiculous storylines ever, and it flies in soap operas.
could you do like the romance part and those love triangles and all
Sure,
that?
because you could just play around
Not a
with it.
prereq.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Love triangles, love like octagons. Do that. Somebody create that one.
was it General Hospital that Gretzky did? Was his or
was he Young and the Restless?
Young and Restless. That's
Wayne
it.
from the Edmonton
Edmonton operation.
operation. That's right.
That was his character?
Was it or so was it? So what?
He had one line. I think it was "Hello, Nikki."
Wow.
Nikki Newman. My mom and grandma used to watch Young and the Restless all the time.
I had 2 points in
Yeah.
my life. I watched Young and the Restless for a period of time.
Oh boy.
I got sucked in.
My mom was big into that too. Yeah.
My grandma loved it.
And the weirdest part is, for whatever reason, Canadians that watch Young and the Restless get the episode a day before Americans.
what?
So yeah,
wow.
the Monday, like today's Tuesday. The episode that airs on Global is the episode that will air on CBS tomorrow.
Wow.
So the Friday is the big episode for the cliffhanger to keep you on till Monday.
Yeah.
Well, in Canada, that's on Thursday. So you only have to wait the next day, and then you get the big reveal of what happened for your cliffhanger.
How do you know this?
Because,
know.
again, I watched Young and the Restless for little points in my life, but my mom was into Young and the Restless,
Okay.
and my grandfather was into Young and the Restless.
yeah.
And it was also like, I would always tell my mom, be like, when March Madness came around, it was like the 2 days of the year Young and the Restless won't be on because CBS has March Madness all day.
Ah, okay.
So, but it was the Wednesday and the Thursday here in Canada because Thursday, Friday was in the States. And for whatever reason, our Young and the Restless, if you're a fan of Young and the Restless, you know this. Anyone, if you wanted to get in the Young and the Restless, you get it a day sooner. You could go spoil it for the Americans. Still don't know why that's the case, but there you go.
wild.
I also watched a soap opera back in the day called Passions.
Yes, I love Passions. With the doll. Yes.
What?
Like Tabitha.
There was a doll, like a
Yeah.
little talking doll.
A talking doll and a witch.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You could come up with the craziest little
That was
storyline.
crazy.
Passions.
And then Teresa crying every episode. Yeah. That's a good one.
There's the doll and Tabitha and stuff.
Oh, I remember that little bugger.
Oh,
Didn't he talk funny?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that. That was called Passions.
Yes.
The last 2 years was great.
It was so dumb. Yeah. Did you guys see Bob Stoffer's video?
no, I
Well,
heard,
let's dig this up,
Yeah, I'll try to
please.
show- I'll try to
Yeah,
show
yeah.
I heard the
It's-
guys talking about
Yeah.
it on the way in.
While you grab that and show it to Cam, the official drink of the EST Hangout, it is the Finnish long drink, legend of 1952 drink, unlike any other. A sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Ken. You can enter your post code, find a liquor store and establishment nearest you with the long drink in stock. A legend of his own is Bob Stoffer.
Yes. As Cam gets filled in on this, I'm going to read this text. Comes in from Sheldon. Hey guys, watching the show from Vegas. Paid $15.60 for 2 people, flights and accommodations, staying at Luxor. Love you guys and go oil. Thank you, Sheldon, for giving us an idea of the
He
price.
paid how much? Sorry, how much?
$15.60 for 2 people
With the hotel.
with accommodations at Luxor. So hotel and flight.
that's not
$15.60.
bad.
That's actually pretty good compared to what we're seeing.
Very.
now. Have
And
fun.
then plus the tickets, I guess, on top of it.
Tickets,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that was hotel and flights.
Yeah,
So
good for
actually
you.
got away pretty good compared to what we're seeing price wise now.
Can you tell me when you booked it? I'm curious.
Oh yeah, Sheldon, let us know.
Out of curiosity.
I'd be curious to know how expensive playoff tickets are in other cities compared to.
Take a look.
Yes,
Take
good
a look at
question.
StubHub. Or do you want to look it up?
No, we could. I was gonna go look up we got caps tonight.
Like our seats for round 2 are $880. We got club
Yes.
seats, but they're 800 and some bucks.
They went berserk on the pricing in the playoffs, didn't they?
And if we make it to the next series, I think they're 1,800 and then 2,000 for the finals. Per seat, per game.
And they do it because they can.
yeah,
And
exactly.
people will pay.
Yeah.
That building will be
That's
full.
that's the thing.
I looked game 6. I'm sitting there watching. It was start of the second period. Not a single empty seat. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 here or there. People coming back from the bathroom or concession, but packed. And I'm like, these guys are making money.
They're sold out though, right? Every game.
Oh yeah,
Sold
yeah,
out.
yeah.
On StubHub for caps tonight, we can get in for about $90 Canadian. There's a bunch for that.
Really?
That's the
Yeah.
lowest. You could get lower bowl for $262
Yeah.
For the Caps
for
game?
Capitals
game, yeah.
today
Okay.
tonight.
Go Vegas. Let's see what we're at for Vegas.
If I'm gonna go to Vegas tickets, I'm gonna just do it all StubHub, just to
By the
keep
way-
it all the same.
Vegas has become a very good hockey market. They're building rinks there. Hockey's up, minor hockey, so it's good. It's like what Dallas has done. Like nobody talks about Dallas, and
Yeah, Phoenix. Phoenix is big youth hockey.
I still do a hockey school there every summer, and it's packed. It's at Ice Den, so that's like one of the few rinks. But there's some good hockey people down there too.
In the 90s to get into Vegas tonight.
That's
Canadian.
It?
Section 225, row M, $98, $99, $99.
pretty good.
If you want to go lower bowl, there, I'm seeing tickets for 197. There are tickets for 524, so it does change.
And you said 800, Cam?
I'm going to go Oiler tickets. Again, I'm just going to use StubHub to keep the site all the same. And Oilers game 1 or game 3, series 2, the cheapest on StubHub. Would anyone care to guess?
the cheapest,
On StubHub.
500.
340.
Oh, 340.
That's here for game 3?
Yeah. So you've got 90s in Washington, and that's all Canadian prices across the board. 90, 95-ish, lowest prices here. 97 or 370 is kind of your average for the Edmonton Oilers.
For Upper Bowl, that's like face value though. It's not too bad.
Yeah, but even if that's face value, but I don't know what face value is in Vegas, but if it's face value or not, tickets are going for $90.
Yeah.
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 That's why it does it. Like if the Oilers advance to a conference final and Stanley Cup final, it's almost cheaper for some people to just fly to the other city,
Hell yeah.
go watch the game down there, and come back.
We did that once with our company. I was looking at, getting a suite for game at Rexall. It's just before Rexall closed, doing a suite for customers, bringing them into town kind of thing. And it ended up being cheaper for us to take 15 people, fly them to Phoenix, get a game at Glendale, get a suite at Glendale, food, drink, and everything, and put them up for 3 days. We went to a Cardinal. The Oilers played Saturday. Went to a Cardinals game on Sunday, and it was
Westgate.
cheaper than renting the suite at Rexall.
That was
crazy.
the
That's
hidden
right.
gem,
That was
wasn't
a
it?
hidden. It was. Yeah,
So that's one thing I always loved about
That's a good
Phoenix.
market, and
Yes.
I still think people say, "Oh, no." You got to put the arena in the right spot.
Yeah.
North Scottsdale is where
okay.
that has to be, and
going
it's
to.
going to be. That would be packed all the time.
Yeah.
They're going back.
That's a good market.
Yeah.
And it was just, honestly, it was one of those, it didn't matter even about the market. It's about the Canadian markets too.
Oh yeah.
Like you knew the Flames fans would go down, Golden Canucks fans would go down, Oiler fans would go down. Like it just was also a good
Well,
spot for people to
Chicago,
go. Yeah,
Detroit fans.
Yes.
they pack
man.
that arena too.
That's
you,
so
you
true.
need those teams sometimes.
Yep.
Where's your place in Phoenix?
In North Peoria, so Vistancia area.
That's where we were.
Oh, really?
Oh man, I miss
yeah.
it. And then the Mita and Kiva Club.
I'm a member of Blackstone Country Club.
Nice. Oh man, yeah. That's
So if
that's
I ever
where
want to go
our place
golfing
was.
to Blackstone, you let me know.
Hey,
we'll go.
I'm coming down there. We
right.
always do it. We still do a Gazzola Boys trip down there and rekindle old memories. But yeah, we sold in 2019. My dad punched a hole in the wall. That's how mad he was that we sold it.
Do got to ask. So GCL Diesel. For those that don't know, what is GCL Diesel?
GCL Diesel is just a diesel company. We specialize in diesel fuel systems, so things that make that engine work. So fuel pumps, injectors, turbochargers. That's kind of what we do. So we're distribution. We're big suppliers for major component manufacturers like Bosch, Cummins,
Oh yeah.
Denso, people like that kind of thing. And then we have a service side too, where we can fix your pumps, your injectors, your turbos, whatever you need.
There you go.
Test.
Diesel.
Don't have.
Under.
Yes. GCL
Understood.
Diesel. Understood.
That's Reed does it the best.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
I like filling in and trying to come up with
It's-
something to try to match
And
it.
you have like this internal clock. You're like, I should say it. I should say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Understood.
Yeah.
I came and ran here and grabbed a hat and came back last week.
That's a good way to do
That
it.
was the one I did to keep me away. GCLDiesel.com if people want more
.com,
information.
that's right.
Yes. So
I was just Googling Blackstone Country Club, seeing where it was,
It was
on the
a
map.
spot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seeing, yeah.
I could have saved this for off the air, but don't you find the course at Vistancia to be a bit uppity and like
What, Trilogy?
trilogy? They weren't that great to us at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we found our neighbors didn't like them either. They found they were a bit.
I never really had any
Dickish.
issues.
Yeah.
I love the little bar they've got there.
Yeah, the bar is
V's
great.
Tap Room is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great spot. The course is nice too. It's gorgeous. But yeah, we're like, where's our range balls? Oh, we don't. You guys don't get range balls. We live here.
What?
Yeah, we for
Wow.
a few years we would get like some cold shoulder stuff, and it was just like, what's going on here? My dad will text in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he'll be like,
Shame
we're
on
all-
you,
yeah,
Trilogy.
thank you. That's why you're at Blackstone.
That's right.
Yeah.
I gotta go golf. Quick question here, because Gager and I got into it yesterday. So did Trev and I. Do you have a rangefinder?
No, I have a watch.
Are you opposed to a rangefinder?
Nope. I don't
Do you
care.
have a rangefinder?
I just pulled out a new range. I ordered a new Vice rangefinder and got it. And so I tried it out on Sunday. I love it because I normally am a watch guy, but the rangefinder can
Accurate.
like especially with the pin location,
Yeah.
right, kind of thing. So
Does it give
Gager
you
and
elevation too. Yeah, slope and all that. Yeah.
some do, not all do. You have to
get a
get
good
the
one.
specific ones. No, they will be specifically on there whether they do slope or not.
See, I don't use one, so I don't really know.
Gager and Trevor, like people don't need rangefinders. Only like PGA people need rangefinders.
They're not allowed.
But like they'll do it on like practice rounds,
sure,
or they'll do it like Phil was doing something with Josh Allen. He was
yeah.
using one and stuff like that. But I don't know no one else. I'm like, you guys are completely wrong. Like you need to know
Totally
your
wrong.
clubs for that. And Gager's like, I just use the 150 marker and I could pace it out and I just eyeball it. I'm like, that's not the same. Like
no.
you need to know your clubs. You need to know the distance. You could guess where the pin is on the green. But you don't know unless you actually get that rangefinder. So I'm glad.
The courses now don't mark the sprinkler heads.
That's right.
As good as they used to because of watches and rangefinders and everything. But yeah, especially because I like to walk a lot type thing. And then that's where a rangefinder comes in handy if your cart doesn't have GPS on it.
Yeah.
I'd say if you know your clubs, 10 yards makes a difference.
Oh yeah,
Right, absolutely. But Gager and Trevor, like, no, you don't need it. It's not important at all. You guys, it's not going to help him. Like, you guys don't know what you're talking about on this one.
It's the difference between a birdie or a par, three jacking it for a double bogey. Like
exactly. Yeah.
That 10 yards is a huge difference maker.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not.
Man.
I wasn't just like, what? Because I have a rangefinder, and
Golf's hard
But
enough.
the boys were just like, yeah, no, only like the best. Like, you have to have like a 3 handicap to need a rangefinder. Like, you guys, no.
You're trying to make
Like-
the average golfer a little bit better and give them a bit of.
They don't think it matters.
leg up.
They don't think it helps you.
Well,
Like, it won't help Zach right now.
no.
Zach's got to learn how to golf.
Yeah.
But after that, once he learns, then it would be helpful.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you been to Waste Management?
Yes.
How was
Few
that?
times.
Did you go? Just
I haven't
now?
been the last couple of years when it's gone really, really crazy, but it was a blast.
Wasted management.
Wasted management. Yep.
I do want to go to that one.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you haven't gone there.
I had a hookup this year.
Yeah, you were down there.
Yeah, I was just down there, but I had a hookup, but then I would have had to gone back, like literally back to back, Phoenix, like
Yeah,
come
yeah.
here, and go to work. Like I would have been dead.
You were at my day club.
Yeah, you know how I roll.
Oilers were supposed to hit the ice 10:30 tonight or this morning. This morning. That is going to be an optional skate for the Edmonton Oilers. So that's 11:30 our time. 10:30 in Vegas. So it's an optional skate. So what we saw from the Oilers yesterday, more likely being what we will see for tonight. I don't think there's be much misdirection. So once again, Calvin Pickard should be getting that start tonight
Yeah.
for the Edmonton Oilers. That was a
Everybody's
story
wondering.
for no reason.
Why? Yeah. Why was there even that talk?
Because Tommy is
'cause you're in
convinced.
Edmonton.
Tommy is convinced that
it's
Skinner
any
would have got
little
it.
thing.
No, I'm
he
not.
didn't. He didn't say that
You-
at all.
I said the opposite.
Were you not last week? Like they just kind of have to maybe like get him in there.
No,
But
I
not
think
for
we're-
game one.
I said
Yeah.
we're going to probably see it. I guessed game 3 we see
Oh,
Calvin
he'll
Pickard.
play. He'll play in the
Yeah.
series.
It was a Sunday. There was a practice. There was no other.
community rink.
There was no other story to be talked about. So people saw Skinner in a net, which potentially might be a starter's net
community
at the
rink
community
changes
rink.
Everything.
Why?
It's not the main rink. You don't have your regular routine. You have to go down the hall, and I think
When did they get into Vegas?
yesterday. They
Yesterday.
practiced here, then flew. Yeah.
So then people saw that, and then the moment they saw Pickard, maybe not in the starter's net, it's Edmonton. It just blew up from there. And then yesterday was kind of quashed a little bit because what coach in their rightful mind would bench a guy, not play a guy who just won 4 straight hockey games in the playoffs?
I reached out to a few people from the team, and they're like, "Where's this stupidity coming from?"
Clickbait.
Like, yeah,
Clickbait.
if the Oilers lose tonight, is there a conversation about who starts game 2? Absolutely.
Sure.
The Oilers clinch a second round berth, and we're getting set for the second round. Are the Oilers going to change the goaltending? Absolutely not. So it's just that this is Edmonton. That's where it came from, Cam.
Yep.
That's your answer. I don't think there's any other
Valid.
answer.
That's true. My dad did text in. Dad, tell me, Reno, let me know about Vistancia because I kind of remember, but my dad golfed there way more than I did. He said, we used to go to the restaurant at the top level of the Coliseum for lunch when I worked in that area. It would have been around 1978. And then he adds Edmonton Gardens where the guys would scrape the ice, then 2 guys would water it with rolling water barrels.
Yep. I remember the guys walking around with pulling the barrels. Yep.
Jeez. And I think my dad said he used to sneak in because my dad lived close to Northlands. And so they would go watch like youth hockey during the day, but then there'd be an Oil Kings game later or Oilers. And they would like sit in the seats and lay down. And then like up in the upper decks, nobody would check. Or they would wait for the first goal during an Oilers game or Oil Kings game. And then someone would open one of the like side doors and they would rush in when everyone was cheering.
Wow.
Yeah. Text for Cam. Ask Cam if his rangefinder ever tells him to, quote, just hit it.
I'm not a slow golfer. I'm a quick golfer. I play quickly.
One thing I have to get better at in my golf game is I take a long time at approach when I get to that ball. Like my little routine, like it just so much to no, I don't feel settled, and I go a little longer. I got to learn to just pick that up a little bit. I pick my club quickly. I get to the ball quickly. All of that I'm quick,
And you swear a lot.
but I get to that ball, and as I am ready, line up, then I start overthinking it.
If I got a good game going, or if I'm in a good routine, I won't even take a practice swing. I'll just get it because it just feels right.
You've already got the feel going.
Because you got to feel going, right?
Yeah, I get that.
I once golfed with Mark Spector, and that's what he did. I've tried that. It doesn't work well for me.
Well, everybody's different.
It's not. When I'm not playing well, that's when I'll start doing that. Because then I'm just pissed off, and I'm not wasting practice swings. I'm just gonna hit this ball. I need to get golfing. You didn't end up going yesterday.
I still haven't, no.
Do you golf every week?
I try. I try to get out a couple times.
Of course you
A
do.
couple times a week.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's awesome.
Best social sport. Do you golf?
Yeah, but I'm terrible.
Well, how often do you golf?
No.
If only you knew a guy who owned a golf course that worked at this station.
I know. I talked to Murray, okay?
Jeez. You have access.
I know. I just because of my injury, I can't.
Oh
like,
yeah,
roll
you
my
can't do
foot.
that right now.
Yes,
But I
yes,
will
yes.
be heading to the range and getting back in motion soon.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm doing range this week.
I need to.
I just need to at least go swing clubs. How many rounds do you get in it usually a year? If you had to guess.
Not enough.
It's always.
I want to say last year when I was down in Arizona for a couple months in the spring, I had 30 rounds in 60 days. And then I came back
that's
here
nice.
and I probably got in about 25 rounds here last year.
So 55, 60 rounds a year. It's pretty damn
That's
good.
a good year for me.
Yeah.
One year I
Trying to
got
increase that.
Yeah.
1 year I got 62.
Wow,
All in Edmonton.
That's good. That's really
I golfed a
Jeez.
lot
Oh,
in
that's
Edmonton that year.
Awesome.
And what's your handicap?
I got to keep track of my handicap actually moving forward. That year, there was actually one point I golfed. Was it 8 straight days? I think by the 7th day, I was like, okay, I had taken a break after tomorrow. Like, I had the round booked, and I was like, my body's done. It's telling you to stop. But my buddy and I, we just always, like, we wanted to just even do just, like, practice at a driving range. So we'd roll up to Corey usually, and we'd see, like, the parking lot was empty, and, like, we just look at each other, like, just want to do a round? I'm like, let's do a round. We just go play. Even though we needed to actually work on our game, or I needed to work on my game. That was a pricey year for me. It was a costly year for me. I won't lie.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. Okay, Oilers, Golden Knights. We are 7, 8, 9 hours away. Is that right? 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure, 9 hours away. I have to count, sorry, with my fingers.
That's fine.
I wonder like their anthem or whatever. Like I wonder what that's going to be.
Any
about.
harmonicas
Right?
coming out?
Exactly. I wonder what their tactic will be with that.
They have their guy. They have their Robert Clark, but then I think they always have someone for the Canadian anthem, and then they bring in the big gun for the American anthem. It always frustrates me when American teams do that. They just like get someone, like a 10-year-old kid, to sing the Canadian anthem, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's cute," and then like some stud comes in and just destroys and absolutely owns the American anthem. And you're like, "What the hell? Why was ours just like
I know.
quickly sped through, and then there's just this grandiose thing where they crush it?"
And then like what celebrity's going to do that line?
Oh, yeah.
They got the siren.
3
horn
games.
with the
They do it all. They do it 3 times a
Little
game.
John.
They do it
Too.
every intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm taking Leon out of this. I'm taking Connor out of this.
Which Connor?
Yeah.
No McDavid, no Draisaitl. Who is the X factor this series for the Edmonton Oilers?
Go ahead.
Who wants to?
Yeah.
Who's the big player that would like that we might
Well, I
like?
have my
It's
answer already.
Klingberg. Is that what you're going to say?
No, it's
Evander Kane.
Janmark, obviously.
Kane.
Yeah. Kane.
Evander
Yeah,
Kane's a good
Kane's-
one.
Yeah.
The 2 years ago he was fiery. Obviously, there's the famous picture with him and that lady fan of
Yeah.
Vegas. She puts up the 2 little,
The one finger salutes.
the two one finger salutes.
Very nice.
To Evander Kane. He had a good first round. Like
He did.
I didn't know what to expect from Kane after not having played for almost a year.
I know.
And he produced. And he was just getting better and better.
It's almost like he's been ready for a while.
Yeah.
To play, right?
I see what you did there.
I think John Klingberg is a good answer, actually, though.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing going up against that Kings attack. It's a different that's going up against this Golden Knights attack. So can he have a similar type series as what you got from the LA Kings series? So is that going to be your answer, or are you going with something else?
No, I'm gonna go with that answer.
Tommy? What
I
was
said
the
Matthias
answer?
Janmark.
Oh, you actually going
Yeah.
with Matthias
I
Janmark?
will stand by that. Will that probably happen? No, but I'll just stick with my guns. That's my guy. I say
What
that.
a night and day player, right?
I know.
You want to kick him off the team for 82 games. It's like, what are you doing here? And then it's just like revelation. And he's out
made
here.
for
It's just-
playoff hockey.
He is. He is made for playoff hockey.
I'm going to go with the other night and day player, and that's Bouchard.
Yeah.
You need more good Bouchard versus bad
yeah.
Bouchard, and what is that balance? Like you're going to get bad Bouchard, but on that scale, can it be 65% good Bouchard? Like where is that going to be? And you brought it up earlier in the show. If Vegas targets him physically and a few of those players physically, how's he going to respond to that? And the fact that there is no Matthias Ekholm on this defense that we know of, you know,
No,
like
he won't be
it's-
there for the second round.
That's a big
Which also, Knoblauch did he rule that out?
Yeah.
Did he?
Doubtful.
Oh.
He won't be there for the second round.
But like that's to me, Bouchard is going to have a very strong series if the Edmonton Oilers are going to be looking to progress against the Vegas Golden Knights.
Hyman needs to get a goal in after all his shooting. He'll probably
Yeah.
score today. Let's hope.
He scored that nice redirection.
Yep.
Was that game 6? Yeah.
So I cashed in on one of the EST bets when
Hell
Simon
yeah.
scores a goal.
Yeah.
That's
right. That was
the
a-
Alberta thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was one of the first. That might have been the first
That
one.
was the first. Yeah. So I said, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, Dusty had that one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jay's he had the Oilers scoring first, and they ended up scoring second.
Yeah. But yeah, Hyman goal was on there. Bones texted in and said, "Give yourself some credit, Jazzy. You were great in last year's tournament."
Oh, thank you, Bones. That's my boy. Because they were so nice to me. They knew I sucked.
Oh, and then Cam, I asked my dad about Trilogy. He said no, they were not pleasant, especially compared to my dad. We love Coyote Lakes. I don't know if you ever made it out there.
Coyote Lakes had my best round ever in golf.
It's a fun little
I
course.
shot a 78. That's the
Nice.
only time I ever broke 80 in my life.
Nice. It is a nice course.
I love it.
Give round
Yeah.
of
Love
applause
it.
for that
Yep.
one. He's got a hole in one. I've learned today.
You got a hole. Where'd you get your ace?
At Blackstone.
At Blackstone. Okay.
Boxing Day 2023.
Damn. Yeah, that's cool.
It took me 50 years to get out.
You got one though.
So
Yeah, so my dad says no, they were not pleasant, especially compared to Coyote Lakes that always threw in a burger and a beer when we
That's
played
right,
there.
yeah.
We love Coyote Lake. We'd always go we'd do a
I'd
couple
always
extra
get
rounds
a-
at Coyote Lakes.
big draft amber Bach and a
Yep.
hot dog at the turn.
Get a little pork
It's
yourself.
just awesome. Yeah.
I remember
That's
I
just
went and played there by
perfect.
myself one day, and it was a late. I started at like 1:30 or whatever, and I was like the last guy. There's maybe a couple groups wrapping up, but I had to wait for my Uber, and the lady at the concession is like, "Do you want a bite to eat? Like, I'll make you a burger right now." And she's like, "I'll give you 2 for 1 beer." She's like, "What are you waiting for?" I'm like, "My Uber. He's gonna be here in 15 minutes." She's like, "Yeah, I can make that for you." She was so nice.
They
Thank
are
you.
nice there.
Yeah, they're great. So thank you, Reno. Good reminder. But yeah, I said Trilogy, not good experiences there. Great course though.
Lock Shop coming up. We got two guys in goalie, EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show with JML, GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, Tommy Hernan and Cass getting you set live from Boston Pizza Westgate, GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. Once this game ends, Tommy Hernan and Cass will get you covered. Recapping game one as round two begins tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Cam, appreciate you coming in on the Hangout.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you, broadcast legends.
Oh, well, where are those legends that you speak of?
Yeah, we're just right there.
Also appreciate all the support of Edmonton Sports.
Yes,
we
thank
do
you.
greatly appreciate that.
It's a
Enjoy.
great cause. You guys are doing a fantastic job. And it's like,
Thank you.
shame on Bell Media for pulling the plug, but
We thought we had a
This-
good thing going there.
you did have a good thing going. That was awesome. But I think you're better off here.
It's the new that comes after the wildfire or whatever, like those type of things. The regrowth.
Yep, that's right. Rebirth.
Good came that came after this one. But thank you and enjoy game 3 on Saturday.
Will do.
Jasmine, I will see you on Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I'm on tomorrow.
Ooh,
I think
you and
Belsey's on tomorrow
Belsey.
too. Yeah.
Very spicy.
So hopefully it's a good talk. Oilers talk, right? Happy talk, hopefully.
On behalf of Jasmine, Cam, GCLDiesel.com, and Tommy, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, Edmonton Sports Stock. Coming up next, it is the Lock Shop. Don't go anywhere. That's starting in just a few minutes.
Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today.